Let's dive deep, everyone, into the world of the subconscious.
The subconscious mind.
Yeah, exactly. And today we're taking a deep dive into Joseph Murphy's The Power of Your Subconscious Mind and focusing on the first 5 chapters, which already have been pretty mind-blowing just from reading them. It's like this guide to unlocking this potential that we don't even know we have.
I think what's really fascinating is the way Murphy blends spirituality and like practical application. It's not just these abstract concepts. He actually gives you like real techniques and tools you can use.
Yeah, and that's what I really love about this book, too. So in chapter 1, The Treasure House Within You, right off the bat, he calls the subconscious this treasure house.
I love that.
I love it, too. But it feels like most of us were walking around with the key, but have no idea how to use it.
Yeah, and the key, according to Murphy, is understanding that your subconscious mind, it's not some mystical force out there. It's this powerhouse that responds to your thoughts and beliefs in a very predictable way.
Yeah, I like how he uses that chemical analogy.
It's like combining certain chemicals always produces a specific reaction. So, like, our thoughts can create real outcomes in our lives. But how does that actually work? Like, can we really just think our way to a better life?
Well, think about it this way.
Yeah.
Your subconscious, it doesn't judge your thoughts. It doesn't say, oh, this is a good thought, this is a bad thought. It takes what you give it, and it goes with it.
Okay.
It's kind of like the saying, water seeks its own level.
Yeah.
Whatever you impress upon your subconscious, it will manifest in your reality.
So if I'm constantly thinking about negative things, worrying, all this bad stuff, my subconscious is actually working to bring those things into my life. That's scary.
It can be scary, but it can also be incredibly empowering. Because the flip side is true, too. If you focus on positive thoughts, what you want to create, your subconscious becomes your best friend, your ally, in achieving these goals.
Okay, that makes sense, but I've got to admit, I'm still a bit skeptical. Is there any proof that this stuff actually works? Yeah, Murphy uses a ton of real-life examples in the book. Like, for instance, there's a story about a woman who had this really deep aversion to mushrooms. And if they were hidden in food, she would get sick. So it's like her subconscious was so attuned to this dislike, it would manifest physically.
So it's not just about our conscious thoughts and beliefs, but those deeply ingrained things that we might not even be aware of.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's kind of unsettling.
But also fascinating.
Yes. And that leads us perfectly into chapter 2, How Your Own Mind Works, where he introduces this concept of autosuggestion.
Autosuggestion.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically how things we repeatedly tell ourselves, especially those fears or doubts, can end up shaping our reality.
So if I'm always saying I'm terrible at public speaking,
Yeah.
I'm actually more likely to bomb at my next presentation.
Think of it like this. Imagine someone on a ship and they're being told that they look seasick. A really nervous passenger might instantly start feeling queasy, while a seasoned sailor would probably laugh it off.
Because the sailor's subconscious is already programmed with that belief that they don't get seasick.
Exactly. Their experience created a different set of subconscious beliefs, and those beliefs influence how they react to suggestions, internal or external.
So even if someone plants a negative suggestion in my mind, my subconscious ultimately decides whether it's going to accept it or not.
Precisely. You are not some helpless puppet. Your conscious mind plays a role in filtering the suggestions that reach your subconscious. That's where mindfulness comes in.
Okay. So being aware of our thoughts, choosing which ones we focus on, is key.
Absolutely. But like with anything powerful, there's a potential downside. Murphy shares this really cautionary tale about a father who so desperately wanted his daughter healed from the skin condition that he actually inadvertently manifested her healing through a traumatic accident.
Whoa, so his intense desire backfired.
Yeah, it kind of highlights the importance of being mindful of what we are feeding our subconscious and framing our desires in a positive way.
For sure, and that leads us into chapter 3, the miracle-working power of your subconscious. I like that. And Murphy dives into the healing potential of the subconscious mind.
The healing potential. Right?
Yes. And he starts by posing this thought-provoking question. What actually heals? And the answer, he suggests, is the power within.
The power within.
So it's not medications or treatments, but our own inner ability to heal.
Yeah, he argues those things can play a role, but the source of healing lies in our subconscious. He uses this example of this young singer who overcame crippling stage fright through positive autosuggestion. She would replace her negative self-talk with affirmations like, I am poised and confident, I sing beautifully.
So she basically reprogrammed her subconscious to believe in her abilities.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
It's like you can apply this to any kind of fear or anxiety.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking about that.
He gives another example, too, of a man with a terrible temper. He was able to completely transform his behavior through consistently affirming his desire to be more patient and understanding. It shows how we can use this power to change not just thoughts, but ingrained patterns of behavior.
So then how does that tie into those miraculous healings we hear about? Like those stories of people being cured at religious shrines or through faith healing.
Yeah, that's exactly what Murphy addresses in Chapter 4, Mental Healing in Modern Times. He argues that these miraculous healings are examples of the subconscious mind at work.
Okay.
Yeah.
He uses the story of a woman who regained her sight at Lourdes, but he's saying it wasn't the holy water that healed her, but her own belief and expectancy.
It's like the placebo effect, right? People experience genuine healing because they believe they're receiving an effective treatment, even if it's just a sugar pill.
I've always heard about the placebo effect, but I always thought it was just some kind of psychological trick. Are you saying there's a real physiological basis for it?
Yeah, there's this fascinating example of a man who was convinced a piece of wood was a relic of the true cross. And his belief in its healing power led to a complete recovery from tuberculosis. It wasn't the object itself, it was the belief that triggered the response.
Wow.
Our beliefs can affect our bodies, even our cells. He even references scientific experiments with hypnotic suggestion that show how the subconscious mind directly controls bodily functions and sensations.
Okay. It's the mind-body connection.
Mind-body connection, yes.
This makes sense.
Yeah.
So whether it's faith healing, placebos, or even those hypnotic suggestions, the healing power comes from within.
Exactly, from our subconscious mind. It's about tapping into that inner power.
Okay. So now I'm curious, what does Murphy have to say about prayer?
Ooh, good question. Well, Chapter 5, Scientific Prayer. He explains that he's not necessarily referring to religious rituals.
Okay.
He defines prayer as a thought, a belief, a feeling, or an idea consciously impressed upon the subconscious mind.
So it's about intentionally directing our thoughts and aligning them with our desires.
Yeah. Precisely. He shares the story of this man who was healed through his minister's silent affirmations. The minister wasn't chanting or performing any rituals. He was holding this powerful positive vision for the man's healing in his mind.
Interesting. What about this subjective embodiment concept he mentions?
Ah, yes. One of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
He uses the example of an actor who mentally rehearsed getting this new job. He felt the reality of it so intensely that he actually manifested it in his life.
Wait, so he's saying we can basically trick our subconscious into believing something is already true.
It's not so much about tricking as it is about aligning our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs with our desired outcomes.
Yeah.
He calls it creating a mental movie. Like, visualize what you want and then step into that reality with your whole being.
I love that. Wow. I can see how powerful that could be. If we really believe something is possible, it makes it that much more likely to happen.
Exactly.
I'm already hooked. This is mind-blowing stuff.
Yeah. The next few chapters get even deeper into the practical techniques.
Awesome. Okay, so we've laid some groundwork here. We know the subconscious mind is super powerful, and it responds to our thoughts and beliefs, whether we're aware of them or not. But, how do we actually use this knowledge to create positive change? I'm ready to get practical.
Yeah, the next few chapters get really interesting because in Chapter 6, Practical Techniques in Mental Healing, Murphy starts giving us tools and techniques to actually work with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's big on aligning our conscious desires with our subconscious beliefs.
Yeah.
So if I want to be a successful entrepreneur, but deep down I don't believe I can do it, am I setting myself up for failure?
Yeah, exactly. He actually says, the law of your mind is this. You will get a reaction or response from your subconscious mind according to the nature of the thought or idea you hold in your conscious mind.
Okay, so it's not enough to just wish for something. We need to truly believe it's possible.
And not just believe it intellectually, but feel it emotionally. That's where visualization comes in.
Yeah, he talks about creating this vivid mental picture of the outcome, using all of your senses, sight, sound, touch, even smell and taste.
It's like creating a movie in your mind and stepping into the starring role.
I love that.
The more real it feels, the more effectively you're impressing it upon your subconscious.
Okay, but I've got to confess, I've tried visualization before, and I always get distracted. My mind wanders. Any tips?
Yeah, he recommends practicing regularly, especially before sleep, when your subconscious is most receptive. But do it without forcing it. He says, mental effort denotes tension. Ease denotes faith.
Okay, so it's about guiding your mind toward what you want, but not trying to force it.
Yeah, surrendering to that power within, trusting that your subconscious knows how to make it happen.
That makes sense. And in Chapter 7, How to Get the Results You Want, Murphy dives deeper into applying these techniques, and he talks about everything from problem solving, overcoming obstacles, attracting financial success, all of that.
One of my favorite examples is the story of a young boy who dreamed of becoming a doctor but couldn't afford med school. Okay. He would visualize himself holding a medical diploma with his name on it so vividly, he actually attracted the resources and opportunities to make it happen.
Wow, so he set his subconscious on a mission and it figured out how to do it.
Exactly.
I love that. But what about those limiting beliefs that we've talked about before? How do we get rid of the negative stuff that's holding us back?
That's a great question. Murphy stresses eliminating self-doubt, negative thinking. He says the feeling of health produces health. The feeling of wealth produces wealth.
So our thoughts and feelings are magnets, attracting things that match their nature.
Exactly. If you focus on lack, you're going to keep attracting lack. But if you focus on abundance and prosperity, you open yourself up to unlimited possibilities.
I love that. It's a reminder that we have so much more control over our lives than we realize.
Yeah.
Speaking of abundance, Chapter 8 is about how to use the power of your subconscious for wealth.
Yes.
So Murphy's reminding us that the universe is infinitely abundant. There's more than enough for everyone. The key is to align our subconscious beliefs with that truth.
Yeah, he cautions against envy, like comparing ourselves to others who have more.
Yeah, don't do that.
He says that creates this negative vibration that actually repels wealth.
Okay.
Instead, celebrate the success of others,
Okay.
knowing that their prosperity doesn't diminish your own.
So instead of feeling resentful, we should be like, good for them. There's more where that came from.
Exactly. And he emphasizes giving generously. He says what we give out comes back to us multiplied.
Like that pay it forward
Mhm.
idea. But it's not just about money. It's about sharing our time, our energy, our resources.
Exactly. Creating this positive flow.
Okay, so we've talked about health. We've talked about wealth, even miracles. What about relationships?
Yeah, yes. Well, Chapter 9, The Subconscious Mind and Marital Harmony, is all about creating fulfilling and lasting partnerships.
Okay.
And Murphy states that marital happiness is not something that just happens, it's a conscious choice we make every day.
So it's about applying all of these principles to our interactions with our partners.
Right. He emphasizes seeing the best in our partners, focusing on their positive qualities rather than dwelling on their flaws.
So we're not ignoring problems, but we're choosing to focus on the good stuff.
Right. And appreciating the qualities that drew us to our partner in the first place,
Okay.
and trusting that they are capable of growth and change.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about choosing to see the best version of our partner and ourselves.
Yes. He also talks about forgiveness. He says, forgive yourself and everyone else.
So holding on to anger and resentment just creates more negativity.
Exactly. Forgiveness is about releasing those negative emotions and making space for love and harmony.
Easier said than done, but I can see how valuable that is. Okay, we've covered a lot. Health, wealth, relationships. What about just feeling good?
Yeah.
Can we use our subconscious to cultivate happiness?
That is the focus of Chapter 10, Your Subconscious Mind and Happiness. And Murphy's message here is pretty profound. He says, happiness comes when you believe you have a right to be happy. Happiness is a deep inner conviction that you are loved, that you are worthy, that you are capable and competent.
So it's not about chasing those external things like money or possessions, but about aligning our subconscious beliefs with those truths,
Yeah,
that we are worthy of love and happiness.
exactly. He suggests focusing on the good, practicing gratitude, cultivating inner peace. He actually recommends this affirmation, divine peace and harmony fill my soul.
I love that. True happiness comes from within. It's not something we find, it's something we create.
Exactly. And speaking of creating, that brings us to the end of part 2 of our deep dive. But this is just the beginning. There's so much more to unpack.
Okay, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into the power of your subconscious mind. I feel like we've already uncovered so much. It's amazing to think we have this untapped power inside of us, just waiting to be unleashed.
It really is remarkable how much potential we have to shape our own lives. And these remaining chapters explore some even deeper aspects of this.
Yeah, Chapter 11, Your Subconscious Mind and Your Right to be Rich. I like that title. So, is he saying everyone is entitled to wealth?
He's making a bold statement that financial abundance is our birthright. It's a natural expression of the universe, like a universal flow of life.
But what about people who struggle financially? Are they somehow blocking that flow?
He believes that limiting beliefs about money, like feeling unworthy or viewing wealth as evil, they can create obstacles. He actually says there is an inner power within you that can lift you up from poverty, illness, and frustration to a life of health, happiness, and abundance.
Okay, so it's about shifting our mindset from scarcity to abundance. But how do we actually do that?
Murphy suggests using affirmations, visualizations, and gratitude practices to align our subconscious beliefs with the reality of abundance. He emphasizes feeling the reality of wealth, like living as if we already possess the abundance we desire.
Almost like fake it till you make it.
Yeah, in a way, but it's more about consciously choosing to embody that feeling, even if our circumstances haven't caught up yet.
I see, okay. Chapter 12, How to Use Your Subconscious Mind for Forgiveness. Forgiveness is something I struggle with.
It can be a challenging practice, but Murphy makes a compelling case for its importance. He calls unforgiveness a mental poison that blocks the flow of love, peace, healing energy, all of that.
So it's not about condoning the actions of others, but freeing ourselves from that resentment.
Exactly. Holding on to anger and resentment, it only harms us. He suggests powerful visualization. Imagine sitting down with the person you need to forgive, having this heart-to-heart.
So you're speaking to them in your mind.
Yeah, even if they're not physically present. Express your feelings honestly, but also acknowledge their humanity and their potential to grow, and then release them with love.
Sounds like it would be cathartic, releasing some of that negative energy.
Okay.
So we've tackled abundance, forgiveness. What about fear?
Fear. Yeah. Well, that's the focus of Chapter 13, how to use your subconscious mind to remove fear. Murphy reminds us that most of our fears are learned responses, often stemming from past experiences or negative suggestions from others.
So we're not necessarily born with these fears. They're programmed into us.
Yeah, exactly. He emphasizes that fear is a powerful emotion that can paralyze us, prevent us from living fully. But we have the power to choose which thoughts we entertain.
So replace those fear-based thoughts with affirmations of courage and confidence.
Yes. And also use visualization techniques. He says the only way to overcome fear is to face it, but you must face it mentally first. Imagine yourself successfully navigating a situation that you typically fear.
Okay, so like public speaking or going on a first date.
Exactly. By repeatedly visualizing ourselves overcoming these challenges, we can weaken the hold that fear has and build our confidence.
I see. Chapter 14, The Subconscious Mind and Habit. I feel like I'm always battling bad habits. What does Murphy have to say about that?
He explains habits are ingrained patterns of thought and behavior that become automatic over time. He says, habit is the subconscious mind's way of saving effort. It enables us to perform actions without having to think about them consciously.
So our subconscious is trying to help us out, but sometimes those helpful habits turn into bad ones.
Right. And he suggests that the best way to break a bad habit is to form a good one. So you identify a positive habit, incompatible with that negative one, and focus your energy on cultivating that new habit.
Instead of just trying to stop doing something, replace it with a better behavior. That makes sense. Okay, let's talk about sleep. Chapter 15, How to Use Your Subconscious Mind for Sleep. I'm a terrible sleeper. Always have been.
Murphy emphasizes sleep is super important for physical and mental well-being.
Yeah.
He explains that sleep is essential for rejuvenation, allowing our bodies and minds to repair and recharge.
He also suggests that sleep is a time when our subconscious is really active.
Yes.
It's like it's working to process and heal our bodies.
Exactly.
Mhm.
He recommends a regular sleep schedule, a relaxing bedtime routine, and avoiding stimulants. He suggests affirmations and visualizations.
Okay.
Promote peaceful sleep.
So instead of lying in bed worrying, I could visualize myself drifting off to sleep.
Yeah, anything that helps to calm your mind and prepare your body for sleep.
We're going to try that. Chapter 16, Your Subconscious Mind and Sex. I'm guessing this isn't an advice column.
No, not at all. He focuses on healthy attitudes towards sex, free from guilt, shame, or fear. He encourages open communication with partners and suggests affirmations and visualizations to cultivate fulfilling sexual relationships.
So it's about approaching sex with a positive and loving mindset.
Exactly. He reminds us that sex is a natural expression of love, and our subconscious beliefs can really influence our experiences.
Okay. Final chapter, Your Subconscious Mind and Fearless Living. I love that title.
This is a beautiful culmination of everything. Murphy offers guidance for overcoming fear, living a life of courage and freedom.
He reminds us that fear is based on illusions, imagined threats that rarely materialize.
Right. He encourages us to challenge those fears, to question their validity, and to replace them with faith in ourselves and the goodness of life.
It's about choosing to live fearlessly, knowing we are supported and guided by a power greater than ourselves.
He suggests using affirmations and visualizations to cultivate a mindset of courage and confidence, imagining ourselves navigating challenges with ease.
Wow, what an incredible journey this has been. We've learned so much about the power of the subconscious mind, how it can transform our lives from the inside out. It's empowering to realize we're not victims of circumstance, but powerful creators. We have the ability to shape our reality through the thoughts, beliefs, and actions we choose.
Absolutely. As we conclude this deep dive, I'm left with this sense of awe and wonder at the incredible potential within each of us.
It's like a call to action to become conscious creators of our own lives.
Yes. Choose thoughts wisely and harness the power of our subconscious minds to manifest our dreams and live with purpose and joy.
What stands out to you most from our exploration?
The realization that we are not limited by our circumstances or past experiences. We have the power to rewrite our stories, to replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones, and to create a reality that reflects our highest aspirations.
I love that. It's time to stop underestimating that power within and use it to create the lives we truly desire. To our listeners, I leave you with this final thought-provoking question. What seeds are you planting in the garden of your subconscious mind today? Choose wisely, because those seeds will blossom into the reality you experience tomorrow.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. May you continue to explore this incredible power and create a life filled with purpose, joy, and abundance.
Until next time, keep diving deep.